The other thing that I noticed in Seattle was there was just this like split between the groups, and I was so um, just pro like let's just density pro. I was YIMBY. I was like let's grow. This is going to be affordable. We need to just keep growing. And I actually went to like marches. I do like the May Day marches, like all the marches. Just like it was really into these things, but and I thought that the people that were on the other side were just like, what's wrong with them? Why don't they want affordable housing? Why don't they want to, like, why are they against this? And I mean, now after living through that and seeing how it changed their neighborhoods, I wish I could go back and tell them that I'm sorry I didn't see what was going to happen, that I didn't see what was going to change, and that it was going to actually displace and gentrify neighborhoods instead of making them like and keeping them diverse. And I do think that like Fort Collins, we're at a place that we do need to grow. We are going to grow, but I think that we can like come to a point that we can like have a conversation. And the problem I see right now, that I feel like I've gone back in time, and then I'm restarting what happened in Seattle, but it's starting here. And that there's like fighting between groups, and one group is saying this is how it should be, and I don't even think that the people that are like saying they don't want that are really fighting, but they're just anger that like that they're lying, and that like, oh, density is going to help and this is going to make everything more affordable. And it just didn't help. It did not help Seattle. And I know that there's like a way to grow into the future, but I just don't want to see the same things happening. And so when I see these groups that are they get so angry at somebody that brings up like, well, why can't we, have open lands, or why can't we vote for these things? And they just call each other liars. And the other thing I noticed in Seattle is like, I was just told like, just vote for this person and they're going to make everything better. So I would vote for like all the pro development, and it didn't get better. They just didn't listen. They just kept saying like, oh, well, more dense and all these YIMBY issues, like it's going to make everything better, but it just didn't do it, And this current city council, like the one in Seattle, it is a lot like what's happening here, is that they're not listening to people. In Seattle, they just keep passing laws like, tear down trees, tear down houses, and don't worry, we know what's best. And I see the same things happening here, and it's like I feel like I'm being like invalidated and gaslit, that like you don't know what's best. Did you live in these cities that you think, you read this report that says like, oh, well, it was better, but have you lived in these cities? Like no, you haven't lived there. You've been here, and you're just saying that it's going to get better, but I'm telling you, it doesn't get better unless we can like as a community be kind to each other and grow into like a future that is like a peaceful city. This is supposed to be the most peaceful city in the United States to live, and it is beautiful here, and I want people to move here, and I want people to have like a happy life here. But if you just suddenly grow the city, it's just, without dealing with the infrastructure, it just displaces the marginalized community. It displaces the middle income families, and it just pushes us into like infrastructure that we're not ready for. It drives up gentrification, and it drives up fair market housing, because that becomes more expensive. And then it just pits people against each other because people just think that they know what's right. And I'm not saying that like I know what's right, but I'm just saying that this is what I lived through. and I'm seeing the same things happen here, and it's heartbreaking because this is my hometown.